When humor becomes the wisdom of life, there's something you've come to realize. Not everyone who laughs easily is shallow. And not everyone ever looks serious is actually deep. The truth is, the people who carry real humor are often the ones who have lived enough to understand life. In today's episode, I want to share why I believe this. Humor is not a joke, it's a form of wisdom. Part 1. Humor as a sign of inner strength. I used to think that humorous people were simply carefree. But the longer I live, the more I see the opposite is true. People with real humor are often those who've been hurt, disappointed, knocked down by life, yet chose not to become bitter. They don't smile because life is easy. They smile because they are strong enough not to let life harden them. Someone who gets angry easily is often someone carrying deep exhaustion inside. But someone who can smile in difficult moments has learned how to stand steady while the storm passes. Part 2. Humor helps you live with what can't be changed. There are things in life, no matter how hard you try, you simply can't change. Someone who doesn't understand you, a situation that isn't what you hoped for, a past you can't go back to. Fighting these realities only drains us. Humor, in moments like this, isn't about avoidance. It's a quiet, intelligent way of saying, "All right, this is how it is." The moment you can smile and accept, you take back control of your emotional world. Not everyone gets to change the world, but every one of us can change how we respond to it. Part 3. Humor as the softness of the strong. There's something interesting I've noticed. People who feel weak often have to act tough. But people who are truly strong feel safe enough to be gentle. Humor is that gentleness. It allows us not to always be right, not to always win, and not to always prove ourselves. Real wisdom understands this. Sometimes stepping back is actually how you move forward. When you can smile at your own imperfections, you stop punishing yourself so harshly. And when you stop punishing yourself, life begins to feel healthier. If you're still listening, there's a good chance you are in a season where life feels heavier than it used to. And if that's true, try holding things a little more lightly. Not to escape reality, but to protect yourself from being worn down by it. Because when humor becomes a way of living, you don't just last longer in this world. You live more deeply within yourself. Humor in communication, the invisible bridge between people. I used to believe that good communication meant speaking well, choosing the right words, using strong logic, explaining things clearly. But over time, I realized something important. People don't connect with logic first. They connect with emotion. And within that emotional space, humor, when it appears at the right moment, becomes an invisible bridge between one person and another. Part 1. Communication starts with safety. Communication doesn't begin with words. It begins with a sense of safety. No one wants to feel judged. No one wants to feel lectured. And no one opens up when they're constantly on guard. Well-placed humor isn't about being funny. It's a quiet signal that says, "You're safe here. You don't have to tense up." When the other person's shoulders relax, when their breathing slows, when their eyes soften, that's when real communication begins. Part 2. Humor and respect. Great communicators aren't the ones who talk the most. Thoughtful humor doesn't dominate the conversation. It opens it. When you're able to gently laugh at yourself, you're saying, "I'm not above you." And when people feel they're not being talked down to, they naturally open up. In communication, a light sentence often travels farther than a perfectly structured speech. Part 3. Using humor to speak hard truths. Some truths need to be said, but saying them directly isn't always wise. Humor creates emotional cushioning. It allows truth to land without closing the listener's heart. A lightly humorous remark can stay with someone all day. A harsh criticism is often forgotten or resisted immediately. Mature people don't speak to win arguments. They speak so relationships can survive. Part 4. Humor in close relationships. The closer we are, the easier it is to hurt each other. Not out of cruelty, but because we forget the other person has emotional limits too. Kind humor gently reminds us we're on the same side. It doesn't ignore problems. It simply prevents love from wearing down over time. After a conversation ends, people rarely remember exactly what you said. They remember how they felt being around you. If they feel lighter afterward, you communicated well. And sometimes, all it takes is a little humor to keep a relationship alive. Thank you for staying until the end. If these reflections gave you a new perspective, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together.